Hey everybody, Mitchell here. Um, First, I want to say happy Trans Day of Visibility. This is a day where trans people can just sort of say, hey, I'm here and I'm trans, and make themselves visible if they so choose. It's just, to me, it's showing people that trans people are a part of the world. Because I think for so many that they just seem like some sort of fantasy, or that trans people don't really exist because they never see them. So, I don't know, something like that anyway. Um, but today's video is actually going to be about transitioning and why I think that therapy before and during transition is extremely important. Um, this was told to me when I met my first trans people besides myself. Um I started things a bit late in life in comparison to most people. I didn't know that trans people that were like me existed. I was only familiar with trans women and drag queens. So uh, that was about the extent of my knowledge on the subject for a long time. Um, so when I was in a nursing home a few years ago, uh, I had some online friends, and she had a husband who was trans. And she said, we have some friends who are not too far from you and will connect you. So um, I friended them and we talked a little bit, and they were willing to come and visit me where I was. And they were so awesome. And it was so, I can't explain the emotions meeting someone who was like me. Um, it was a great experience, and they're just a great couple of guys. And they told me, they stressed this to me, pretty much drilled it into my head, or it's been in my head ever since they told me that therapy is extremely important. There are so many guys who, they're excited and they just want to go on T and see the physical changes start to take place. And yes, that's exciting and that's also important too. But that takes time. It's not going to be an overnight thing where you wake up the next morning and all of a sudden you look the way you want to look and you sound the way you want to sound. Um, Myself as an example, all you have to do is go to some of my older videos, and I look a lot and sound a lot different than I do now. Um, but it's important because there are so many changes, but the system is very different now. It's easier for people to just get the testosterone in most cases, in a lot of cases. Um, there's what's called informed consent, and you just have to sign the papers, do some blood work, and in most cases, they'll give you your testosterone. This is great for some people, but to me, skipping over the mental health aspect of transitioning is not in the best interest of the trans community, because even though I see why it's been done, it was to prevent gatekeeping, which is people just trying to oppress trans people even further by not giving them what they needed, which is testosterone to feel better. But the mental health aspect of transitioning is, or at least for me in my experience, it's huge, because for some people, they have some questions about their gender, like they're not sure if they're trans or how they identify. They just have all these emotions and feelings, and they're not sure. And a therapist can really help you sort those things out. Like maybe you're not trans, maybe you're non-binary, or maybe you're not trans. You've just been through a whole bunch of trauma and you have things to sort through. Detransitioning, which is people who have transitioned and have found things out later on, like through therapy or whatever, and decided not to transition, that it was not for them, is extremely low. But therapy can also help prevent something like that from happening. But most of all, I think it's important because it's important to know ourselves the best we can before we make such a life altering decision. And also, people are transitioning younger and younger, which I think is great. It's been proven in studies that children know at a very young age what their gender is, just like they usually know who they're attracted to at a pretty young age, too. But also, the brain is not fully formed at that age when you're young. It doesn't mean that they're going to change their minds by any means. But in cases like that, I think therapy is important because the child would have the support of a therapist, and also the parents have the support of a therapist to help them make these types of decisions for their children or with their children. Um, but as far as adults go, um, my experience personally has been, my transition was scary, and it still kind of sucks, even though I've come a long way and it's wonderful now. It wasn't always this way for me. Something I don't talk about too often is I came out twice. Well, three times if you count trans, because when I first came out of trans, I was terrified. And I actually went back in the closet for a little while because I got too scared. And uh, I just couldn't do it alone. And a while later, I think about a year or so later, I came out again, and I've been out since. But the processes in different states are more difficult because some don't have informed consent yet, or it's harder to find, so you have to get letters and things from therapists to get testosterone. But this is getting easier and easier as time goes by. And like I said, so many people, they just want to get the testosterone and get things going, but there's so much more to it. Um, A therapist can help you deal with the changes and all the emotions that you're feeling about your transition. The testosterone can affect your moods, and they can help you process as you go through the physical changes, because that can be a lot and scary for some people. Um, so these are just a few reasons why I think therapy is really, really important. Um, that being said, doesn't mean that the first therapist that you see is going to be a great fit for you. If you're seeing a therapist and you don't feel right with them, or they don't help you feel at ease, or it just doesn't feel like a good fit, try to find another one until you find one who feels like a good fit. I have been to um, 3 different therapists so far, or 4, and that's just been through different steps in my journey, and they haven't all been a great fit for me. My current therapist is a pretty decent fit, and she's been extremely helpful. But that being said, the therapist doesn't always have to be uh, trans specific, even though for things like surgeries, that's helpful. Um, some experience. I always ask my therapist if they have experience with other trans people. Um, just I just don't feel comfortable that so many people try to skip over the mental and emotional aspect of transition. And I felt like it was important to share why. If you have any questions about any of this that I've said, or how to get on testosterone, or anything like that, anything about anything, um, my channel is here for you to help you through life. Um, so, like, if you have questions about something you're going through and you need some advice, or you need a friend, you just need someone to listen to you, if you need some spiritual advice, just anything, drop it in the comments for me, and I will do my best to use my knowledge and uh, my experience to help. That's all I ever want to do, is help people. That's why I'm here. Thank you for watching this video very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Um, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so very much for watching.